Hey guys, Alex from BoardGameCo over here, and today we are covering Dead Reckoning from AEG. Dead Reckoning is the newest card crafting game from John D Clair. This is started with Mystic Vale. I think it actually started with Custom Heroes even before that, but became popularized with Mystic Vale, took the next step with Edge of Darkness, and now we have Dead Reckoning, a pirate-themed 4X exploration card crafting system. There's a lot going on here, and as usual, the question of the day is, should you back it? Whether it's a game for you, is it a good game for you? What's the gameplay like? Are you interested? And most importantly, or at least most importantly for this channel, does it hold its value? Is it a game that makes sense to back, or do you just wait and get it later? How does that play out? And if you're new here, if you're new to the channel, that's basically what I do here. What I do is I look at Kickstarters, a lot of other content as well, but in this Should You Back It series, I look at Kickstarters and I tell you whether I think it makes sense to back it or not, whether there's a monetary return on it, not to resell, but rather just from a stance of, if you don't like it, because there are so many Kickstarters out there, what are you going to do? Are you just going to back every single Kickstarter and hope for the best? Because I don't know about you, but I'm a bit of an addict myself, which means I like to make sure that I'm making the right decision and not just paying more for a game that I can get cheaper down the road. If you want more about that, I generally include a link to a much longer video that covers that same little pitch. From there, let's go into Dead Reckoning. So there's a lot going on. I'll do a brief overview of the actual gameplay, but I'm going to tell you what I recommend as videos to watch. There's a lot of other content creators out there, and some of them just do a far better job. I would say most of them do a far better job at covering how the game plays. We all have our strengths, and I like to recommend you check out them if you want that kind of review or how to play or preview or all that stuff. So the short overview of Dead Reckoning, which is, by the way, $145,000 so far. This has been up for like an hour and a half when I'm filming this, so whatever. We got 24 days to go, 1,500 backers. This game is going to absolutely kill it. They are in no harm, foul, whatever. They're doing well. Dead Reckoning is a card crafting game. If you're not familiar with a card crafting game, that basically means the game comes with sleeves. It comes with its own sleeves. You don't have to buy sleeves. It comes with extra sleeves. Ignore anything to do with buying sleeves. That's not what you need to do. But it comes with these sleeves that you can kind of put cards in, and then you insert other cards that slowly build up your card. So it's kind of like deck building, but it's card crafting instead. It's a very interesting premise, and it's one that I have been personally interested in for a long time, but never pulled the trigger on. It's always felt a little too fiddly than what I wanted, and the games that had that system in it just didn't appeal to me enough. Mystic Vale, for instance, is a game that I've been interested in because of the card crafting, but the rest of the game I have no interest in. Edge of Darkness I've heard a lot of good things about, but I've also heard that it's a little bit too fiddly, a little bit too long for what it is. I haven't heard enough. Don't get me wrong, it's rated a 7.7 on BoardGameGeek. That's a great rating, but if you look through the ratings, it does seem like it has some of that Kickstarter bump where people get emotionally invested in their games they're backing and rate them accordingly. I would wager that Edge of Darkness is really closer to a 7.3, 7.4, somewhere in that range if you filter out all the excitement ratings, the hype ratings. And so Dead of Reckoning is the first one that I am truly really interested in. I've heard a lot of good things so far, and I'll reference those shortly, but more importantly, the theme I love. I've always loved Merchants and Marauders. I like pirates, and there aren't enough pirate games, and considering the gameplay world we live in and the number of themes that are seen, I think pirates is a proportionately underused theme. Granted, Wingspan, for instance, with birds is an incredibly unique theme, but I don't think birds are the type of thing we would expect to see a lot of. Versus pirates, I would imagine we'd see a lot of pirate games, and there are some, don't get me wrong. There's Jamaica, Tiny Epic Pirates, Dead Reckoning, Merchants and Marauders. They have the newest one, it's like Sails of Glory or whatever. There are definitely pirate-themed games, but I don't think there are a proportionate amount of pirate-themed games compared to how popular I would imagine the theme to be. That personal preference of pirate games and wanting more of them for myself, Dead Reckoning is a pirate-themed game, and it seems to be a good combination of light and heavy. This is not the kind of game that's going to be weighed up against the most established Euro, the Voyages of Marco Polo, Coimbra, Food Chain Magnate, whatever, nor will it be weighed up against the game like Zombicide, which is all dice chucking and fun. This is somewhere in the middle. This is one of those games, those game systems where it will have enough strategy to be rewarding and fun and engaging, as well as have enough fun and dice rolling and other aspects to the game that this is something that ultimately it's about having a good experience, making strategic choices throughout, but it's somewhere in the middle. Not hardcore strategy, not rolling dice and just blasting away or whatever. In terms of the gameplay, like I said, it's a card crafting system. You're going to be building cards as you go. You're going to be developing those cards so that even your starter cards you can level up. They have the system where you can, I believe it's new to the card crafting system, where you can flip the card and put it into the sleeve itself. So even the starter cards can be leveled up even more than they normally would have. Additionally, you can add cards so that you can develop these really fun cards to play. Past that, they're going to be going out to these islands, and these islands are going to be where you can buy more cards. As you explore to these different islands, each island will have different cards that you can then buy or acquire. I don't know if it's buying, but somehow acquire from those islands. Then there's combat, there's area control, a lot going on in this game. The gameplay end is player deterministic. You have to achieve a bunch of stuff, and then the gameplay will end, so it's not a fixed number of rounds, which does mean the game can vary in how long it goes. That is, again, it's a very, very high level overview. In terms of recommended videos, I would say check out Man vs. Meeple. They did a review, and I'll link to them above and below. Man vs. Meeple did a review of Dead Reckoning, not a preview, a review, not paid, not sponsored, but they did a review where he really did a great job going through both the history of card crafting as well as Dead Reckoning itself. I think it's a great video. You should really watch it. Rolling Solo, I believe. Rolling Solo did a solo video, which I highly recommend checking out. And then Tantrum House did a good overview video. This is more of a preview, but did a good overview of explaining the system, how the game plays, and kind of getting a feel for whether it's something you are interested in personally. And with that out of the way, let's cover the pledge levels. Let's go to the pledge levels first and then take it from there. So to begin with, we have $5 access to the pledge manager. This is something to take note of offhand. I do not appreciate. I think it's a good move when companies do this, when they incentivize more of a buy-in as opposed to those $1 pledges. I think it's good from the company standpoint. From the backer standpoint, perhaps not, but it makes $5 is already something to lose. $1 is like whatever, but $5 means, okay, I'll lock in my spot, but, you know, now I kind of spent $5. And it's definitely, I think it's a good move for companies to do it. And they are doing $5 access to the pledge manager, which means $1 will not get you in. Just keep that in mind. $1 will not get you into the pledge manager. You have to pay $5 to get into the pledge. From there, we have $79 for the deckhand. This is the one that normally I say I don't recommend the basic pledge level. Normally I say don't bother, just wait till it hits retail. But there are no current plans for this to hit retail. And I'll talk about that more when I go into the should you back it, should you not, and all that. But it's worth noting there are no current plans for this to hit retail. I'll also note Edge of Darkness doesn't seem to have hit retail. So if you look at their past big box Kickstarters, it's not something where they're like, oh, no plans, and then come out later and suddenly a year later it's at retail. So that is something, it's worth considering the deckhand pledge level if you're interested, because this is seemingly as of now it's a Kickstarter only game. From there, we have the $109 pledge level, which offhand, if you are interested in the expansion at all, and they have a expansion as an add-on, then go straight for the legendary pledge level, because it's basically the default pledge level plus more stuff for free plus the expansion. So definitely something that's worth looking at. As far as what does the legendary pledge level include, so that's something we're going to see as the game plays out, because this is a game that does not have stretch goals, not at all, which again I think is a good move for companies to drift in that direction. It's basically mostly a game anyway, so lock in that pathway so you understand and you know what's coming. You don't have to play games with your backers about what the campaign is going to look like, how much is going to come out, being on top of trying to manage and guess what people are going to do. Go with daily stretch goals, slightly less exciting, but still give people the opportunity to feel like there are stretch goals, to feel like things are being unlocked, even though they really aren't, they're just being revealed. But it's still, it gives people a reason to keep checking the campaign day after day, and to keep being emotionally invested in the project, which is a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing for the company at least. For the backer, perhaps being emotionally invested isn't such a good idea. So the legendary pledge level at $109 is going to give you the base game, the $79 pledge level, plus it's also going to give you all the content unlocked in the daily discovery. Now this is day one, okay, so I will in general have updates when I do my Kickstarter roundup videos. Subscribe to the channel so you get notified, subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified whenever I do my roundups. I'm aiming for once a week now, we'll see how that plays out. But in terms of the daily, what do you have so far? So we don't have a lot, because it's day one, so we don't really know what's coming from there. But what we do have is we do know that we have so far the Saga 1 Deep Legends is being added, which is already an optional buy at $45. So I think it's $45 for the optional buy. Yeah, it's a $45 add-on, which is MSRP, by the way. So I think they're just making you feel like it's a good deal, because the MSRP is $45 and the add-on price is $45. That being said, the deal part of this is getting it as part of the Legendary Captain Pledge, because the Legendary Pledge is $30 more than the basic pledge, and it already gives you the add-on that they're charging $45 for. Again, I think that's a gimmick. Please, if you're watching this video, whatever you do, do not back the regular pledge level and then get the $45 add-on. That is terrible. I do not recommend it. In addition to that, you'll also be getting all the daily unlocks that they give. And the starting one is already a pretty cool one. And that is they're adding a Ghost Ship Cube Tower to the Legendary Pledge in addition to the regular Cube Tower ship. And if you don't know about that Cube Tower, you're going to be tossing a bunch of dice into that ship, having them roll out onto the board. It's a cute little system, a bit of a variant between a regular dice tower as well as, you know, the Cube Tower you see in games like Shogun or Amerigo or whatever. So that is already, after 1 day, with 24 days left to the campaign, that Legendary Pledge already seems to be a pretty decent value. If you are interested in this game, I recommend skipping the basic pledge and going straight to the Legendary Pledge. And we're not talking about whether you should or shouldn't back it at all yet, but just if you are going to back it, go straight to the Legendary Pledge. And so far, looking at the screen, the general audience seems to agree, because we have 35 backers at the Deckhand Pledge and 1,076 backers at the Legendary Captain Pledge. That is a big gap between the popularity of those pledge levels, and I just think it makes sense, just in terms of if you're interested, go straight to those. In terms of the pledges, what do the pledges come with? Okay, so the basic Deckhand Pledge, $79, MSRP of $99, but I don't know how relevant that really is to anything because it's currently not coming to retail, so whatever. But if you want a reference point, I guess. What do you get for that? You get the battleship. This is that ship we just talked about. Toss a bunch of dice down. They come out, land in different spots. You get the 48 sailor cards, 48 sailor ability cards. Those sailor ability cards are the cards you're going to slot into your actual card deck or whatever to level up your characters. You have 60 crew sleeves, 4 player ships, 4 shipboards, and those shipboards are upgradable. You can buy cards to upgrade your ship as you play. 4 dock tiles, 4 player chests, 120 player cubes, 24 achievement markers, 4 pirate mode markers, 4 harbor boards, 12 ocean boards, 25 level 1 advancements, 12 ocean boards. See, I didn't even think about this, but I would wager we're going to see a bunch more ocean boards as part of the daily reveals. 12 ocean boards is basically the default layout, but maybe not. I don't know. We'll see how this plays out. 25 level 1 advancements, level 2, level 3, level 4 advancements, which means a minute ago when I said the advancements were up here, I was wrong. I think I was wrong. We'll find that out. So I think these two together are the basic cards that combine in your sleeve, and then the advancement cards are the cards you add to further add abilities to your characters. 4 boxes for advancement decks, 16 wooden damage tokens, 20 NPC cubes, 20 wooden buildings, 30 wooden cargo, 24 ship upgrades, those are those ship upgrades I mentioned a minute ago, coins, reference cards, and rulebook. And then as far as what the Legendary Pledge gives you, so far it gives you all of the above, and then like we said already, the Deep Legends expansion plus the Ghost Ship alternate tower, already a reason enough to jump straight to that pledge level. So, should you back it? Okay, 12 minutes in. Should you back it? Should you not? Doesn't make sense. And this is an expensive week, and that's why these decisions matter. I mean, offhand, we already have today alone. Forget the rest of the week. Forget before. Forget after. This week alone, we have Ascension Tactics. We have Dead Reckoning, obviously. We have Perseverance Castaway Chronicles. 3 pretty big Kickstarters just today alone. Not this week. Today alone. And then this week before and after. It's an expensive year in Kickstarter, and COVID-19 is only going to make that more so. People are going to consider Kickstarters when they weren't before. Traditional retail channels are going to have to adjust, change, optimize. Now, not everything's going to go that way, but Kickstarter is quickly becoming more and more expensive. So, should you back it? There's no easy answer here. The short version is if you are interested in this game, then I do recommend backing it. If you are on the fence or you just want an excuse not to, then I recommend passing. And I'll go into why I say that, but it definitely falls somewhere on that line. Now, to begin with, as a starting point, this game currently has no plans to go to retail. So if it has no plans of going to retail, if that stays true, and with the Edge of Darkness it seems to have stayed true, that makes it a easier conversation to have in terms of it just eliminates a lot of factors. It eliminates a lot of discussion about, well, will it be available from Cool Stuff Inc., from BoardGameCo for cheaper? Who knows? But if it's not available in retail, then the only real question is the secondhand market, which means offhand, if you don't want to deal with the secondhand market, if you don't want to hunt down a cheaper copy, if you don't want to do any of that, then by all means, go ahead and back this. It's not a bad deal, not in the slightest. Because the secondary market, while I believe there's a chance it will be available cheaper, it won't be that much cheaper, and it's also just as much of a chance that it'll be more expensive. And let's look at Edge of Darkness, because Edge of Darkness is our closest reference point in terms of trying to determine how this has played out in the past. Edge of Darkness was a campaign where the basic pledge level of the Guildmaster was $100, shipping was $20, and we forgot to talk about shipping on Dead Reckoning, we'll get to that shortly. Shipping was $20, which means $120 for a Guildmaster pledge. If you look at the price history on BoardGameGeek, if you just scroll through the prices, you can see that a bunch of people are getting anywhere between $75 on the low end, but that's more of the exception. I would say between $90 and $120 for what they effectively paid $120 for. And if you click through to some of those do have expansions included. Which means you're kind of just barely breaking even on Edge of Darkness. You're kind of just barely breaking even, possibly losing $10 to $15, possibly making $10 to $15. Not a big difference, and that's obviously how good a game is a huge determining factor in this conversation. If a game is bad, the price will tank. The secondary market will tank. Nobody will care. All these thousands of people who will back this project by the time the project is over will be dumping their copies of a not so great game. Versus if it's very good, if it's better than Edge of Darkness, and I believe it will be. If it's better than Edge of Darkness, then the price will be even higher. The price will be, basically, it comes down to a question of supply and demand. The better a game is, assuming it's not in retail. If it's in retail, it's a different conversation. But if it's not in retail, and supply and demand is often dictated by how many people want the game because they've heard good things about it, and how many people are dumping their copies because it wasn't a good fit. The better a game is, the less people are going to be dumping their copies, and the more people are going to want it when they couldn't have gotten it. Now, I will note, the other factor to this is Edge of Darkness has had follow-up Kickstarters. So if that is something you're willing to wait on, if you don't mind being patient, then you can possibly get a copy later down the road. Now, the price may not be the same. They might increase the price a little bit. Who knows? But it's something to consider. Which effectively means that I believe if you are interested in this game, you should back it now. I believe your risk is losing $10 to $15 and locking your money up for a while. I don't believe it's going to be a worse game than Edge of Darkness. I believe it's going to be better. I could be wrong, but this is a card crafting system has been continuously refined. A Man vs. Meeple seem to think that this is the best iteration yet, so it's not a guarantee, but I believe this will be at least as good, possibly better than Edge of Darkness. And at that point, it's just a question of, are you looking for a reason to back it or a reason not to? If you are looking for a reason to back it, go ahead and back it. I believe it's a good value. You're not making a ton of money. You can be patient and get it on a second Kickstarter. You can be patient and get it on the second-hand market. But if you are interested and you're not currently trying to push it off, you should back it. Versus, if you are specifically looking for reasons not to back it because there's too many Kickstarters and there's limited funds, or you're just kind of on the fence, then be patient. Then I recommend being patient. Wait for a second Kickstarter. Check out the second-hand market when it comes out. You may end up paying more, but you'll have hedged your bets on whether it's the right fit for you and whether it's a good game. And as well, like I said, if it's good enough, if Edge of Darkness got a second Kickstarter, and this is better than Edge of Darkness, who knows if it is, but if it is better than Edge of Darkness, you can bet that you will see a second Kickstarter. That is my should you back it, should you not. It really comes down to what you're looking for. Whichever answer you're looking for in this case, I can give you. If you want to back it, go ahead and back it. It's a good buy. If you're kind of on the fence and you want a reason not to back it, hold off. You can get it down the road. Might be a little bit more, might be a little bit less. Wait for a second Kickstarter. Whatever reason you're looking for, I can give you today, which is, it's nice when I can do that, I guess. I'd rather tell you it's an amazing, astounding value. And by the way, it might be. Pay attention. Like I said, subscribe, ring the bell so you see the updates when I do the Kickstarter roundups. But as those daily updates come out, as we keep seeing things get added, 24 days of add-ons, and I don't know what, they mentioned in their Kickstarter that they're going to talk about whether there'll be an all-in price. So expect there to be add-ons, expect there to be more paid additions. I know for sure there's at least Saga 2. I don't know if that's included in the Legendary Pledge or an additional bot add-on. We'll find out. But there's going to be more here. There's going to be more added. There's going to be more whatever. I don't know how much it will really change my opinion in the end because I'm really using Edge of Darkness as a bigger reference point, but it's certainly something to pay attention to. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. This game does look cool. I will be backing it, by the way, and I will be backing at the Legendary Captain level. I don't know how the add-ons will play out and whether I'll be going in all in or not. Usually I end up going gameplay all in, so we'll see how that happens. But we have 24 days of piratey goodness ahead of us, and until then, well, there's just more Kickstarters. More Kickstarters. I hope you enjoyed. I am Alex from BoardGameCo. I hope you found this video useful. If you find this kind of content useful, if you get some sort of benefit in terms of what should you back, what shouldn't you back, subscribe down below. I put out daily videos, lots and lots of stuff to talk about. Sometimes, most of the time it's Kickstarter, other times it's other stuff. Sometimes it's just opinions about who knows what, Kickstarter, scalping, whatever topic of the day that's fun to talk about. I'm just here to have fun, as I hope you are as well. Until next time, I'm Alex, and have a good one.